Hello, everybody. This is Mrs. Lara at Texas Alamos College. So today we're going to be working with Excel, and we will work with a small feature called conditional formatting. You will find conditional formatting in the Home tab under the Styles group right here. This is your conditional formatting. I happen to like this formatting quite a bit. It's very simple to use and it makes your data look so much nicer without having to do a lot of work. So I have started with a list of salespeople and then I just added some numbers. These are just numbers that I made up. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add all the quarters. So this is what a salesperson sold in a quarter. That's quite a bit of money. So I'm thinking maybe they were selling vehicles or something. But anyway, so just very quickly, remember that you can add all your items in a row in two different ways. One of them is you select the place where you're going to put your information and you click the enter key. Sorry, not the enter key, the equal sign. And then you just click on the items that you want to add. So, and you add plus in between them. So that's one way. That happens to be quite a bit of work. So there's an even easier way. You go to the field where you want the answer to be. Then you go to the area under your Home tab. And all the way to the end, you have something called the auto sum. If you click on there, this gives you the most common formulas that we use in Excel. So here's the sum. So when I click on the sum, by default, it'll assume that I want to add the first row, which it's true. That's what I want to do. Notice that it's giving me a function called sum, and it's telling me that I want to go from B2. Those two little dots, they mean through E2. So B2 through E2. And that is correct. I just pressed my enter key. And now I have right there how much money Perry Mason made in the year. Now, if I want to do the same thing for all the other salespeople, I can either just do my sum again the same way, or to save some time, there is a tiny little square right here at the corner. And that tiny little square, if you grab that tiny little square, notice that my cursor became a little black plus. I can click on that and then I can drag down. This is called the copy handle. That means that it'll copy whatever it found in this field, in this key, in this way. What it did right now is that it copied the formula. So notice that my formula goes sum B2 through E2, B3 to E3. So it's summing every single row. So it just made my adding so much simpler. All right, so let's get to conditional formatting. So right here, just very quickly, which is the one that sold the most money? Well, I need to take a little bit of, time because I need to look at every single number. And well, here's our 600. 600s are probably the highest, but okay, so 667, that's probably the highest. But it took me a while to figure out which was the highest. So I am going to make this visually simpler for me. I am going to highlight all of the fields under the F row. I'm going to go to conditional formatting. And the first thing that I'm going to use is the simplest one, which is called the data bars. So when I select the data bars, this is just going to give me a highlight based on the value that it's in that cell. So it'll make the highest cell. Let me make it a little bit. Okay, there we go. This color. Yeah, that color is nice. Make the highest cell immediately visible as being the highest, and also the smallest one, right? I can make this field wider if I want to be able to see it a lot better. And notice that right here, I have no problem showing, oh, okay, so this is the one that has the lowest, all right, 449,000, and that would be milli. But then the highest, 667, right? It's obvious that this is the highest. Well, that was Nila. All right, so that makes it visually a lot simpler. And of course, you don't have to choose that color. You can always go for gradients, right? Or for solid colors, right? Okay, so I'm gonna clear the rule now, okay? I'm gonna clear that rule. And I'm going to use another type of conditional formatting. The first one, where we actually look at rules. Highlight cells with particular rules. Notice that here we have very standard rules. I'm going to highlight things that are greater than something, less than something, or in between a particular value, or that they're equal to something, right? So I am going to one more time. Well, let me make this wider. I'm going to make this one a 20. All right. I'm going to highlight my values, and I'm going to select greater than. And notice that it's telling me, well, you want to be greater than what? Well, maybe I'm looking at everybody who sold more than $425, which I think everybody did. So let's do $450,000. $450,000. So in this case, everybody sold more than $450,000 except for Millie, who sold $449. Okay. All right. So now let's look at highlight cells that have less than. So I'm going to do less than $500,000. And there we go. So the salespeople with less than $500,000 were Perry, Linda, Tony, Millie, and Peter. Okay? It's very simple. I can clear the rules, right, and the selected cells, and I can choose values between a certain number. Maybe I am looking for a value that is between 470,000, right, and 500,000. Why? I don't know. Just, to find. So for some reason, I'm looking for people who sold between those numbers. Okay. Let's clear the rule. All right. Oops, all of them. All right. So what else? Let's see what else. Top and bottom rules. This is pretty simple. So I want to see the top 10 items. Well, obviously, I only have 10 people in here, so it's probably going to highlight everybody. But we can modify this. So notice that here, because it's the top 10 items, it's giving me everything. But maybe I just want to see my top 3 salespeople. So instead of having a 10 there, I'm going to put a 3. And now I know that my top 3 people are Nila, Susan, and Raul. Right? Now, if you don't like that color, because usually red seems something bad, you can always change colors. So no, that makes a little bit more sense, right? They make the most money. And if you don't like those, you can always go custom and go even more. You could say, well, make them bold colors, right? Put a border around them, or just a different, highlight if you want, right? So there we go. Okay, maybe you wanted something like that, and that's fine. Okay. All right. Let's clear the rule. Let's do the top 10%. So 10%, if I have 10 people, the 10% will be pretty much one person, right? So there we go. Here's my top 10%. But maybe I want to do my top 25%, right? Which in this case is 2 people. Top 30%, right? Top 30%, that would be 3 people, because I have 10 salespeople, so 30% is 3 people, right? So we can always go like that. So it's similar to the top 10, right? You can always modify everything that's in here. Maybe I want to know who are the bottom salespeople, right? I want to do the bottom 4 salespeople. Here are my bottom 4. Very simple. Let's look at these color scales. Now, these ones are a little bit fun. You can choose any one of them. What they do is that they color your fields from the lowest to the highest. And you get to choose those colors also. So you can either choose multiple colors. Notice how right here I have light yellows all the way to pinks, or you can choose monochromatics, like in this case. So here I have this monochromatic color that goes from a very light green to a dark green. So I'm going to choose this one. Okay, that looks nice. And you say, but you know, is it really all of them in order from the smallest to the largest? Well, we can always prove this by going to the data tab, and I'm going to align them from smallest to largest. Now, usually we don't want to do this with money unless we do all of them at once, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to go from smallest to largest. I'm going to get a tiny warning saying that, hey, there's more numbers out here. Are you sure you only want to sort this column? Which ideally you don't only sort one column, because then, the monies are going to be assigned to the wrong person. As we know, Nila is the one that makes the most money. So if I just say no, continue with my selection, that's going to mess up my data. But I want to show you what this does. So here we go. Oh, I think I didn't select the whole thing. All right, let me do this again. Home, conditional formatting, color schemes. There we go. All right, and I am actually going to manage the rule so that I can choose right here. My lowest value will have that light color. At my highest value, will have this darker green right here. Okay. All right. So now I am going to go to the data and do the from smallest to largest. And here we go. Here we have my smallest numbers. That's the smallest numbers. And these are my highest value. They have the highest data right there. All right. All right. So these are pretty simple to use. You also have icon sets. And these work similarly to your color scales, except that they use different types of icons next to them. So notice that these ones have a chart. So this one, there's the stars, right? How much they sell, right? So based on this. So let's look at something like this, right? So notice that I'm going to make this a little bit larger, right? So right here, this one is the ones that sold the least, right? The ones that sold a little bit more midway, and of course my highest salespeople are right there. Okay. So, all right. So that's it for this video. Just wanted to show you quickly what were your conditional formatting and all the different things that you can do with them. They're very simple. They're there for you, already created for you to use them whenever you want to fix some data and make it look pretty. Okay, goodbye.